We don't have real estate on the show all the time, but I am really looking forward to our conversation with today's guest, Josh Mooney, who is the vision behind Paragon Building Group. Now, Paragon is a revolutionary home building company that specializes in luxury universal design. And if you haven't heard of this before, you're not alone. Luxury universal design is all about creating beautiful spaces that allow for life's transitions. So think about aging in place, multi-generational living, green living, and inclusion. Now, in Josh's opinion, universal design is the height of Southern hospitality. And I have to agree. You know, a home should be a place that is designed for you to always be there with you through life's changes and through life's magic. And today we're going to talk about some magic that Josh is creating. So Josh, thank you so much for coming to the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us today and the VIP treatment. So This has been great.
Welcome to the Best of Raleigh with your host and real estate expert, Gretchen Coley, owner of the Coley Group. This show is all about the people and places that make the Raleigh area so special. Here's your host, Gretchen Coley.
We're going to start with you on the company itself, and then I want to talk a little bit about you. But tell us about Paragon Building Group.
Yeah, so you gave us a great, really introduction. Today, we are all about universal and inclusive design. So that is a really neat local story. Dr. Ron Mace at NC State sort of was the founder of universal design. So it is a local concept that came out in the late 80s. And really, it was about inclusion. It was about homes that last. It was about creating spaces that folks could live in comfortably and welcome, family members and friends of all ages and abilities for a lifetime. And so we have really focused on that mission. And today that is, we're one of a few in the country that specialize really in the concept, and it's been very rewarding.
Yeah, you and I met maybe about 4 or 5 years ago at Riverstone.
Yeah.
Where it was really kind of your first neighborhood, I think.
Correct.
And you correct me if I'm wrong. And when I met you, I had never heard of universal design, but I knew there was a concept of aging in place that everybody was looking at for the boomers and all of that. So we knew enough about it. I was so impressed in our meeting. I walked in to show a house and you were there, and we had such a great conversation about what universal design is all about. And you pointed out some things to me that I would never have thought of or never have noticed if you weren't walking the house with me.
Yeah.
And so I think for people listening out there, I want to share a couple of things that are really instrumental in universal design and how people live in the home. So do you have a couple of those you want to share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, if you think about just long-term livability and comfort, one of our main staples, as a matter of fact, every home we build today has 54 very specific features that we can point out. Many of those you can't see. Often when we give tours of these homes, the only thing that folks will notice is that we backfill or raise the slab from the garage. So it is a barrier-free entrance into the home. Other things are 36-inch doorways throughout the home, elevators that provide access to all floors. All of our doorways have ADA-compliant thresholds. Shower stalls are barrier-free with no transition or so if you think about and things like blocking behind the walls for future grab bars. We've been a part of remodeling projects for folks who have needed those things, and you end up removing, the drywall and the trim. And one of the things that sort of resonates oftentimes with our clients is that blocking material is generally something that's thrown away. It's discarded. And so, again, just beginning with the end in mind, trying to do everything we can to future-proof, and thinking about long-term comfort and practicality.
I think that is so well said. And Midtown Magazine, kudos to Midtown, just did an article on you. We had the editor in here the day after that article went to press. And she was so impressed with that whole concept of starting with the end in mind.
Yeah.
And that's something that you would think that all builders do in the industry, but it's actually not. Some of them think about who's going to buy this house and how are they going to live in it, whether you should put the primary on the main floor or on the upstairs, but they're not really thinking about the future of the home and how that home is going to age. And so there's a huge point that you made to me last time we spoke about how universal design isn't just about aging in place. Universal design is for everyone. So think about the mother with the stroller, or having special needs family members in
Right.
the house.
Right.
Like the things that you're talking about, barrier-free entries in your garage, barrier-free entries in your showers, blocking behind your sheetrock, those are all things that benefit every phase of life.
Right. No, they absolutely do. One of the fun facts last year in 2023, our clients aged in range from 28 to 83. We were able to move in a couple who had cut out their vision out of Southern living in 1978, and we were able to build that home and move them in at 83 years old, and they had been in their previous home for 54 years. So really special to be a part of things like that. But you're exactly right. This is long-term, built to last, quality. Think about maintenance, and we really do get into deep conversations with customers about how they live, the ages of their children, how they entertain, what their plans are for retirement. You know, is there opportunity that a child may move back into the home at some point? And think about, for a lot of our younger clients, that aging parent. You know, being able to welcome mom and dad back in the home, even having parents come and stay just a few extra days around the holidays and create those memories is pretty special.
You know, I want to point that out because I think that's a huge thing that we don't often think about. And I don't think about it. I'm 49 at this point. I've got, you know, twins that are 17 and 20-year-old and parents. And, you know, when your family members come to stay, you and I had this conversation, they might come and stay for Christmas and they're supposed to stay 5 days, but they stay 2. And it wasn't because of the chaos in the house with the kids. It might be because they're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
The space doesn't work for them, right?
Right.
So most people that I work with are thinking about their parents. They're thinking about that comfort, but the way that we think about that now is not the way we should be thinking about that. And you guys have proven that model.
Right. No, absolutely. And this is about that time. You know, this is about a home that is beautiful, but is also functional, but is practical, makes sense, works for the largest number of the population or people. And really to be a part of that, we just last week received an email from a lady that we worked with to build a home for her mother here in Raleigh. And she was able to stay and recover in her home after open heart surgery for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And it was a really special message because she was able to do that in her home with her family in comfort and heal faster around her family members. And one of the things she noted in the email is that her caretakers didn't know about universal design. And so being able to come in the home and receive treatment and be able to get back on her feet as fast as possible in a space that was designed for her to be able to do that was pretty neat.
You're building an army of people that are selling universal design. Do you realize that?
Well, it's easy to do. I think this resonates for a lot of people. Everyone's had someone in their life that means the world to them. Same happened with me, and you know, we can do better. I think our industry can do better, and this has been a way to kind of move the needle. So that to have folks that are out there spreading this message and helping us tell the story is pretty special.
Now, I totally love that. You are one of only 6
Yeah.
licensed, certified, you can correct me on whatever the term is, universal design builders in the country.
Right. Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's such a passion that you have for it, and I think it exudes. But, you know, what made you choose Raleigh?
Well, I grew up here, so I grew up off of Lake Wheeler Road. What got us into this mission is my grandfather. So my grandfather was a Navy veteran, passed away at 96 years young, retired before I was even born, and was my hero my entire life. And towards the end of his life, he was eventually forced out of the home that he built with his own 2 hands. And so watching that and sort of how that matured was heartbreaking. And that was his legacy. The homes that he lived in, the homes that he built, the home that he built for my grandfather or grandmother, being eventually forced out of that was very impactful. And so when you see that, I think just as a human being, you have to respond. You have to do something about that. And so this is all really in memory of him. And the message that we spread is everyone's got someone they love, they care about, they deserve to have a space that they can live in, retain their dignity in a safe area, and be around, the folks that they love.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we're all about.
And you just kind of got lucky that the founder was here in Raleigh.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
Did not know that. We actually, after my grandfather passed away, we had done a lot of things. We had built some homes, been in the remodeling space. And it took about 2 years to find something that I thought was responsive to, and we really honor him and his memory and make a difference in our community. And it's just ironic that the discovery of that was something that was local, right across town.
Everybody loves a homegrown story. We all love it. And I want to talk a little bit about the business as a whole and where you're building. And then I want to go into some of the special things that I think are really special about what you're doing. How many homes a year is Paragon building right now?
Right now, I'd say we're in the 12 to 16.
That's a great number.
We've got about 31 in our design funnel right now. And, that's a really special thing, too. Clients come to us. They ask for this now more and more, the universal design, inclusive design concept. And we value really creating a bond with those folks and understanding, and it takes 6 months, a year to take their images, their style, their what we call inspiration, and really commit that to paper. And I think they value having someone who's really been a thought leader in this space to help guide that.
So your build process is, what do you say, 20 months, 24 months, based on from the time you meet with someone for the first time?
Yeah, 18 to 22 is definitely fair. We're seeing design clients, the timeline there somewhere between 4 and 6 months. And then most of our, production time from the day we start till we finish is 12 to 14 recently. So.
That's a good time frame, because you do need to do a lot of that work up front, right? Like a lot of that has to be done up front. And if you can check all those boxes in the beginning process, you don't have the mistakes when you're actually building the house. And there's not those obstacles that really stress people out.
Right. And our goal internally too, when you talk about fit and finish and just some of the delta, the range that you can see in products, our goal internally is 95% of those selections before we go even into budgeting. And that way there's less ambiguity, there's less fear about the budget. And, there's a lot of value in understanding what the products are, the selections, looking at indoor air quality and insulation and long-term maintenance things. And so we do enjoy getting in the weeds and want to make sure clients understand what they're buying at every level.
I think that transparency is so needed in this industry, because after going through COVID and working with buyers and sellers, builders and buyers, it is not a transparent business.
Right.
And that is so unfortunate, because people are having to make decisions when they don't know what the end number is.
Right.
And that's a really hard thing to do. So I appreciate that about y'all. I want to talk about Southern Living, because you got the magazine right here. And, we all know Southern Living magazine. And, you are one of the featured builders in there.
Yeah, we are the Triangle's exclusive builder, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, for the Southern Living Custom Builder Program, which we're really proud of.
And this has got my favorite couple on it.
Oh,
and
cool.
This is the South's best issue. I mean, who doesn't love Southern Living and love being in the South? I mean, we get to live here.
Yes.
Some of you listening might want to live here, and we want you to live here. And before we get into this, this show is sponsored by the Coley Group. And, our mission at the Coley Group is to help you through life's transitions and make it smooth and effortless. So if that appeals to you and you're thinking about making a move in the Raleigh area, we want to be your go-to people. Reach out, give us a call. It doesn't matter if it's 12 months or 2 years or 5 years. We want to be that first phone call to you and help you figure out exactly what the best place for you is in the Triangle. So, Josh, tell us about Southern Living.
Yeah, so we are so happy going on 6 years of being affiliated with one of the most iconic brands in the South. Believe it or not, there are still 22 million people in the South that receive this magazine every month.
And some of y'all in the North, too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But anyway, we get an opportunity to engage with some of the greatest builders in the country and kick around ideas, talk about products, work around solutions. And we're really fortunate to be aligned with them here in the Triangle. So.
And you're getting ready to do a Southern Living show house.
We are. We did our first Southern Living partnership home in 2021, which you saw. And we've got some ideas coming up for potential show homes and an idea home here in the Triangle. So be on the lookout for that. And again, can't say enough about the magazine and the support that they provide us in the field. Some of the things they've been able to do with materials and alignment with manufacturers, given their horsepower, gives us an upper hand with a lot of situations, particularly during COVID, where we had a difficult time getting materials. So.
Well, it definitely does. And for those of you who haven't been through a Southern Living show house, it's pretty rock star. Like, it is the cutting edge of what is coming out. It's all there'll be 90,000 people that will come through that house, correct?
Yeah, and Southern Living is pretty specific. I mean, they're looking for timeless architecture. They're looking for homes that are built to last, that 300 years from now will still stand out. And it's really important for us to be able to, collaborate and to bring the images that so many people have fallen in love with over the years in a package that is practical, that makes sense, that works for life. So.
Well, and speaking of that, as Paragon Builders grows in the Triangle, you've grown an excellent team around you of people who really care. What can a customer expect when they work with your team?
Well, we've always said we want the product is given, particularly at some of the higher price points. We want a process that matches the product. And so from complete transparency, open book and real-time accounting, clear communication, we use a software platform that allows customers to log in 24 hours a day and see progress photos, notes, inspections, all of those things. So I think for me, who's sort of a nerd of the industry and grew up around the construction space, we've had a lot of conversations with clients who have not been satisfied with that process. I think most people, once they move in and given that they've had opportunities and options, they love their home. But what we hear most often is they didn't love the process. They didn't love communication. They didn't feel like they had an advocate.
I would agree with that.
And so again, going back to that process to match the product is so important to us. And we want a bond for life. We really do. I mean, this is about getting to know people at an intimate level, what their plans are, what their legacy is. And a lot of times that is wrapped up in their home and where they plan to make memories. And so that is so important to us. And that even takes time. We have to be able to listen and to take a step back and understand. Yeah. And if someone's had a bad experience, let's evaluate that and talk about it.
Double the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to undo that bad experience.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a great point.
You really do. And, I feel like from a standpoint of a customer, that transparency is huge. It's not something that you get in this market all the time. And it's so beneficial, and it does make them feel so good. And so if that sounds a lot like us, it's because, we are really based in relationships too. And we feel like that relationship that you build in one of these, the intimate transaction of building a house, but not only that, selling a home as well. Like, we walk into a listing appointment with somebody we've never known, they sign a piece of paper, they give us the keys to their house. And, I go in there and I'm like, these people just gave me the key to their house. There's so much responsibility that comes with that.
Right.
Right? From a customer standpoint, from a service standpoint. And you guys are writing the book on that. And I'm so impressed every time I meet with someone from your team. And anytime I hear someone who's living in one of your houses, they rave about you.
Well, thank you.
So what are you building right now? I know you guys are kind of thinking about, really little bit smaller houses, but really tricked out. So for a client who's thinking about, we have people who want to downsize all the time.
Yeah.
They want to downsize, but they don't want to give up all the stuff. And that's hard to find in this market.
Right. Well, when you take the time, I think, on the front end to listen, and that is so important to what we do every day, what we're finding is, given the opportunity to go through this process, the majority of our clients do end up building a little smaller than maybe they anticipated, but nicer. When you think about the legacy, when you think about this forever home, when you think about something that's built to last, you are intimately involved in every selection, as someone would want to be and should be. Given that opportunity, people want the products, the looks, the finishes in the spaces that bring them joy. Yeah. So a lot of time is spent in the kitchen, obviously, in the owner's suite. Outdoor living space has become huge because so many people moving here from other markets are not used to being able to cook out 9 months, 10 months, 11 months out of the year.
And being able to get out there without a bunch of steps.
Right.
Look at me.
Like that.
I'm an expert now.
No, absolutely. That is so
with
important.
a door you can open with one finger instead of your whole body.
There you go. There you go.
Little things.
Yeah. So we're in half a dozen communities or so around town. We do one show home now per year, and we are finding that we're looking for opportunities to meet that need of that smaller but nicer, practical, functional for life home that has really all of the top of the line finishes, but in maybe 3,000 square feet as opposed to 5,000 square feet.
I think there's money there. Like, I think that is something that so many people want. Like, I want a smaller house, but I want it tricked out.
Yeah.
I don't mind giving up the space, but I'm not going to give up the level of quality and finish. And so I think melding those two is so great. Well, Josh, thank you so much for such an awesome conversation. Where can they find you?
Yeah, we are currently redoing our website to tell a little bit more of the story behind the story.
Because he's a perfectionist.
There's a little bit of truth to that. At paragonbuildinggroup.com. And feel free to contact our office. At the end of the day, most of these conversations are about getting to know you. So we'd love to have anyone in our office give us a phone call. Love to hear more about your vision and how we can be of service to you. And feel free to reach out anytime.
Well, we'll put all that contact info down in the comments, so make sure you check it out if you missed that. And, Josh and I think that Raleigh is a pretty awesome place to live.
There is no doubt.
We think it's the coolest place on the planet. And this show is all about introducing you to the best people, places, and businesses in Raleigh. We want to be your guide to luxury living in the Triangle. And for those of you who are thinking about making a move, we would love to be your first point of contact. Thank you so much for listening to this show today. We drop a new episode every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. So if you hit that follow button, that will enable you to get notifications, and you will be in the know on all the things happening in Raleigh and the people that you should be getting to know. So I hope this has been insightful and informative, and we will see you in the next episode of The Best of Raleigh. See you later.